And welcome back. Joining us for our third conversation this morning is the operations manager at Belize Diesel and Equipment. He is Ryan Marin. Good morning, Mr.
Hi,
Marin.
good morning. Thanks for having me.
You're here to talk to us about all things Toyota. Let's talk first of all about the brand and how long Belize Diesel has been an agent of this particular brand.
Right, so actually the first sale of a Toyota Land Cruiser first happened in 1958 in Belize. And this was at a time where Toyota was exploring the region for new dealers in the US and all down through Central America. They were looking at Belize was one of them. Before Belize was actually even an independent country, Toyota has set up shop here as a franchise, and they saw the potential in our market as well as many other markets. And so the relationship between Belize and Toyota goes way back.
It has come to the point where Toyota is one of the leading brands in automobile manufacturing in this world, actually.
Yes.
Right? But in Belize, it's one of the prominent brands in terms of pickup trucks and other vehicles, heavy-duty vehicles, and what have you. Talk to us about Belize Diesel's role in this transition and perhaps being able to market the brand locally.
Right. So myself and the staff at Belize Diesel are really proud of the work that we do, because we're in government fleets, in industry fleets, and when I say industry, I mean banana, sugar, all these crucial industries in Belize, and we help the wheels turn for the people that do their work there. And so we have a tremendous amount of being proud in what we do, because we feel that Toyota is monumental in getting these things done for everyday people, for people who have important jobs. I'd go as far as to say that Toyota is the #1 brand to get that done, because as Belize Diesel, we're a single brand, as opposed to some of the other dealers in Belize. We only represent Toyota. And when we look at the sales figures, we look at, Toyota as a whole, sells Hilux, sells Land Cruisers, sells these things. But when we look at the fleets of all these major industries, they're running almost only Toyota. And so we feel that it is an important brand, not only to everyday people who look at, okay, let's buy a vehicle to get to work and take the kids to school, but also to move industries forward.
What do you think it is about this brand that has been so long lasting? I mean, you just spoke about how long Toyota has been here in Belize, but as Isani alluded to, this is a brand that has the same level of representation worldwide. What is it about it when it's compared to other brands?
Hands down, it has to be quality. It's all about quality. The Japanese people tend to be very quality conscious. Almost everything that's like a top brand or a top quality product comes from Japan. I mean, there's so many other brands like Sony, JVC, all these different brands coming out of Japan, Canon, Nikon, that you use in your studio here.
Yes.
And so it represents quality. And the funny thing is that we mentioned that, Toyota is a top car brand, the top car brand. And that wasn't the goal. The goal was just to make quality, reliable vehicles that last a long time. And it turns out that that's what everybody wants too.
Yeah.
What makes it hold its value? Because I was watching a documentary perhaps a few weeks ago where they were looking at vehicle owners who purchase various models in the Toyota family. For instance, the Tacoma holds a certain value, and it's one of the popular vehicles right now to own based on that. What makes it hold on to this particular value?
Well, it's the expected lifespan of the vehicle, right? Because if you buy a vehicle and you say, okay, well, this is going to last me 10 years, well, by the time you, let's say, want to change it at year 5, the next buyer is only going to have a perceived value of, half its life is already gone. But at Toyota, you know, somebody can drive it for 10 years, but the next buyer is going to say, well, you know, this vehicle is good for another 15 years. So the perceived, like the residual value is a lot higher because the expected life of the vehicle is a lot higher. And you mentioned about the Tacoma and other models that are not officially introduced here. And I wanted to touch on that because it's really important that people understand what we do as an official dealer for Toyota is that we have a model lineup. And people always come to the dealer and say, oh, you know, how come you don't have this model or that model that might be available in other markets like the US, which is our main source of buying vehicles, right? We have the Hilux, we have the Prado, we have you know, different models, and it's because when we do our homework at the dealer, we have to collect fuel samples, we have to do technical reports on failures, and so the models that we get are actually designed for Belize. If you look up in our system, in our Toyota system, the VIN numbers of different, they'll tell you, okay, this one's for the US, this one's for this country, and then you'll actually see Belize spec. And that takes into consideration, you know, you go to Puma or Shell or Uno, and the fuel that they have there, they've taken that into consideration. And the funny thing is that when they send us the request, they look at all the different gas stations and please go to, you know, Shell on Central American Boulevard and take that sample, and you know, so that's the level of detail that they go to ensure that it lasts 20 years or 25 years, which we have so many vehicles that come to our shop with 800,000 kilometers and it's nothing. The vehicle still starts and drives like day one. And it's just amazing to see.
And perhaps that's also one of the value of purchasing a Toyota vehicle from Belize Diesel, because of that assurance that comes with it. I want to talk a bit more about that, the experience you get when doing business with you guys and purchasing these Toyota vehicles. What is that process like from start to finish?
Well, first off, you know, people tend to want to realize, okay, well, what's driving me to buy a new vehicle versus a used vehicle? It's, you know, save some money. And again, to go back to that, these vehicles are designed for Belize. And then also the warranty. We have a 5-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty, meaning that you're assured that if you get into an accident, the airbags, the safety systems are going to work. If you have a failure, an engine failure, it doesn't even have to be that serious. It could be a radio stop working. You bring it to the dealer, we replace it, you're off on the road again. And so this is like the main assurance that, okay, somebody comes in, gets a new vehicle, they're assured that they're not going to have any problems. The maintenance cost is going to be trackable, meaning you buy a used vehicle, you don't know what happened to that car. Maybe you bought it, a month later, you have to change an expensive part that you weren't planning on. You don't have that kind of guesswork with buying a new vehicle. And so that's one of the main reasons that people buy a new vehicle. And one of the main reasons that it lasts so long too, because you can plan out your entire ownership cost and life cycle.
Do you guys facilitate perhaps the aftermarket aspect of this all?
So in aftermarket, I'm imagining that you're talking about like spare parts. So we always have a discussion with the parts and service staff. You know, we always encourage people to keep their Toyota a Toyota. The moment that you start putting on parts that were not necessarily designed for that vehicle, a lot of the aftermarket they copy, right? Reverse engineer the parts. And so it's not exactly, things don't fit exactly, or they don't work exactly, or they don't last as long. So we always encourage people to go with the genuine parts, which was designed for the vehicle. It's the same part that you bought from the factory. Sometimes you have people that, you know, 20 years the car's been on the road, and they come in and say, oh, I don't want to spend that much. But you realize that that part has been on the vehicle for 20 years. So why not continue buying that genuine quality to keep your car reliable? And, you know, it's the entire basis of the brand to ensure reliability on the road.
One of the things, or one of the themes that I think I hear from this conversation is one, the investment that comes with purchasing a Toyota, but also the investment in doing so with Belize Diesel, having that assurance of warranty, of not having to worry about parts and mechanic work. Yeah. For persons who might be tuning in and wondering, what does a budget, or what kind of budget would I need to have to purchase a Toyota? Perhaps from the lower end up to the highest. What would you say that is?
Right. So, Toyota is a premium brand. Quality does come with a cost, but we're not like a, like a German brand or, something that's extremely expensive. We have brand new cars with warranty starting at $72,000 with all your taxes, out the door price. Now we do have more luxury cars that go all the way into the six figures, but we do have something for everybody. It's not just expensive, high quality cars. We do have high quality economic choices.
Yes.
And if you look at a $72,000 price tag, a lot of the used cars coming out of the US have higher price tags than that. So the customer just really has to be informed as to where they want to invest their money, because a car is a big investment. Whether you say, okay, well, I'm going to save money and buy a $50,000 car, that's still a lot of money. That's not everyday money.
Is the second largest investment other than owning a house. Right. So you really have to put some thought and some consideration into what you're investing in.
Right.
And I think for the average Belizean, they're thinking, okay, well, I only have a certain amount of money. It may not necessarily equate to being able to buy a $72,000 vehicle, but they're looking at their budget. In terms of budget consciousness, what would you say would be the best route to take, even if you were looking at perhaps financing a vehicle or something?
Well, in terms of financing, we always encourage people to work with their financial institution and see what the best terms that you will get. And I know for the everyday buyer, it might be daunting to go and open up that conversation, but that's their business, and you shouldn't be afraid to go and just have a discussion to see where, because we have a lot of people who might feel that financing is impossible for them, but when they go and have that conversation, they find out that the banks are more willing to finance a Toyota because of the long warranty, because of the expected life. And so you find that the banks are willing to work with you and have that relationship with you because they're getting a quality product, as opposed to something that might have come out of a flood or an accident, and you don't know what the life is going to be or the level of investment that is required to keep that vehicle on the road in the coming years. And so, like I said in the beginning, a new vehicle, you can plan out the cost of owning that vehicle a lot better.
Wonderful. Well, for persons who might have been convinced to march over to Belize Diesel and purchase their first Toyota from you guys, how can they do so?
Well, so we have two locations, one in Belize City and one in Belmopan. On the main road, Slaughterhouse and Freetown Road in Belize City, and on the Hummingbird Highway in Belmopan. We have a lot of new models coming in. We have hybrids, which I'm very excited to introduce as an officially introduced model to the country. The first, as I know, of an officially introduced hybrid gas electric vehicle. And then we also have the new Hilux Gazoo Racing model, which is a high performance version of the truck based on the Dakar Rally. We have the new Toyota Raze, which is the $72,000 entry level model. So we do have a lot of different models that we're venturing into this year and next year. That's a change from the usual Hilux, Prado, Land Cruiser lineup. So we do believe that now we have a model for everybody, even yourself.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ryan, for stopping in and sharing with us this information. We appreciate it, and we wish you guys all the best.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right. We are going to take our final break, and when we come back, the conversation switches into celebrating Diabetes Awareness Month.